The latest on that road rage shooting that killed former NFL player Joe McKnight. Outrage growing after the sheriff released the shooter without charges. ABC's Eva Pilgrim has been following the story. She joins us from New Orleans. Good morning, Eva.
Robin, the question isn't who shot and killed Joe McKnight at this intersection. It's did something happen to make that admitted shooter think that his life and his car were in danger? Louisiana is a stand your ground law state, meaning that if someone is trying to get in your car, you can use a gun to keep them out.
Justice! Outrage this morning over what authorities are calling a road rage shooting that took the life of former NFL running back Joe McKnight.
I just stood there with my hand on my face like, oh my God, he really just shot this man.
Police say this man, Ronald Gasser, seen on the ground in cuffs, admitted shooting McKnight. This morning, he is not facing any charges. Authorities suggesting Louisiana's stand your ground self-defense law would play a part in the case.
If he was man enough to pull the trigger, he should be man enough to take his lick and still be in jail.
Authorities say it all started Thursday afternoon when one driver cut the other off, the two driving almost 6 miles before stopping at this light. Gasser's blue car in the right lane, McKnight's SUV on the right shoulder. Witnesses reported hearing the two argue. Then the sheriff says an unarmed McKnight got out of his SUV and approached Gasser's open passenger side window.
Mr. Gasser was in his vehicle when he fired 3 shots.
The Jefferson Parish coroner telling ABC News one bullet hit his left hand, another entering his shoulder, ripping through his body and lodging in his spine. The third hitting his chest, exiting out his lower back.
So it also came in at an angle like this?
At an angle, that's correct. Like, entered here, exited like here.
Investigators finding 3 shell casings on the rear floorboard of Gasser's car and a large folding ladder in the passenger seat. Witnesses say after the shooting, Gasser got out of his car.
He was like this at the window. And then once he moved from the window, he walked around to the front part of the car and he kept the gun, but he kept his arm locked.
This not Gasser's first road rage incident. ABC News learning he was arrested 10 years ago for punching another driver at a gas station at this same intersection. Charges were later dropped.
There have been conflicting eyewitness reports, the family now getting their own independent autopsy looking for answers. We talked to several businesses in the area that say they've given their security video to police as they continue to piece together exactly what happened. George?
Okay, Eva, thanks. Let's bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, along with the former Dallas Police Chief, David Brown. All of you at home may remember his calm and powerful leadership after those police murders last July in Dallas. And now, Chief Brown, welcome to ABC News. You're joining us as a contributor. This is your first official day. I'm glad you could be with us this morning.
Thank you so much, George, and good morning.
Good morning. Let's start out with the decision of the sheriff. I think a lot of people are puzzled by it, that this shooter could be released. Walk us through the steps of this decision.
This process is not unusual. An investigative process when there is a shooting involved and someone's deceased really involves interviewing witnesses, collecting evidence, trying to make an assessment. It's not unusual not to have a judgment immediately and to release suspects who may have given statements, cooperated, but may later face charges based on that evidence that we collect.
Right, that's an important point, Dan. The shooter could still face charges, but legally, the shooting could also be justified.
It could be. Under Louisiana law, your car is treated like your home, meaning if you believe reasonably that you need to use deadly force to prevent someone from entering your car or entering your home, that can be considered a justified shooting, meaning you don't have to feel like you personally were in danger, like you personally could get harmed. You just have to be able to say that you reasonably believe that you were firing to keep someone out of your car. And in this case, the fact that they found shell casings on the floor of the car makes that a relevant issue in the context of the investigation.
That's one key piece of evidence, Chief Brown. What are the other ones investigators looking for right now?
One of the key pieces of evidence is the physical evidence, is how the distance, the trajectory of the weapon, how far away, are there any gunpowder residue, and video. There might be closed caption video from adjacent businesses or from traffic intersections. Often cities will have cameras at traffic intersections, and so all of that will be more of the comprehensive nature of the investigative process.
And Dan, when it comes to building a case here, does it matter who started this?
It matters a little bit, but more importantly is who ended it, right? The most important question is what happened in the moments before the shooting. But let's remember, if it's true that he got out of his car and was somehow, as eyewitnesses have said, that he was out of his car firing a shot, or then this whole self-defense, the whole stand your ground doesn't matter. This is only a question of if he can somehow demonstrate, and Chief Brown, I think, says it well, which is in conjunction with the shell casings and the other physical evidence, if the authorities believe he was in his car the whole time and that he reasonably believed that McKnight was trying to get into his car, not yelling at him from outside his car, but trying to get in, then it's the possibility that the authorities could say, we don't think we have a case here.
And, Chief, there have been some protests. What's your message to the community?
Well, it's easy to conflate all of these shootings that happen. This looks like Will Smith shooting in New Orleans. It looks like Trayvon Martin. But each of these cases stand on their own merits. And we have to make sure we are always cognizant of the condolences to the family. This grieving process is very difficult. They're very anxious, frustrated, and maybe even angry. And this plays into how the community reacts as well. But I would caution those to wait for the facts, let the investigative process play out before you make those type of judgments whether or not there's problems with what's happening.
Chief Brown, thanks for joining us here at ABC.
Great to have Chief Brown.
It really is. It's terrific.